Hi everyone, we are in chapter 6 today of Island of the Blue Dolphin. Today we start our next week, okay? We are no longer in week 4, we are beginning week 5. So I'm gonna share my screen to make sure that we're on the same page with the documents that we're filling, the same answer sheet. All right, so today, chapter 6, we are going to begin in week 5. Here's your week 5, okay? We're no longer in week 4. Our objective is to be making predictions. We are beginning week 5, day 1, work page. This is going to be aligned with chapter 6 of Island of the Blue Dolphins. All right, so let's go ahead and look at these questions. Number 1, how long is a lunar, which means moon phase? What phases are we in now? Okay. Number 2, how much time has passed if they are back to the time the Aleuts were there? Number 3, who is in the ship this time? And number 4, what will happen to them next? That is a prediction based off of the text we're going to read. Okay, so again, we are today in chapter 6. Chapter 6 goes with week 5, day 1 work page. Week 5, we are no longer in week 4, okay? Right here. All right, so here we go with chapter 6. We always want to do a brief recap of chapter 5, the previous chapter that we read. They had a new chief elective because Chief Chowig had passed. So the new chief that was elected was Chief Kimke. And he had set sail to this new land that he maybe wanted to establish for the tribe people. And the chapter ended with some concerns if he would ever return back. So he has left. And they have these concerns. Will he be back by winter? Will he be back at all? Let's see if this chapter has any answers to that, okay? So chapter 6. After Kimke had been gone 1 moon, we began to watch his return. Every day someone went to the cliff to scan the sea. Every day someone went to the cliff to scan the sea. Even on stormy days we went. And on days when fog shrouded the island, during the day there was always a watcher on the cliff, and each night as we sat around our fires, we wondered if the next sun would bring him home. But the spring came and left, and the sea was empty. Kimke did not return. There were a few storms that winter, and rain was light and ended early. This meant that we would need to be careful of water. In the old days, the springs sometimes ran low and no one worried, but now everything seemed to cause alarm. Many were afraid that we would die of thirst. There were other things more important to ponder, said Matasaip. Matasaip, who had taken Kimke's place. Matasaip meant the Aleuts, for it was now the time of year when they had come before. I'm going to reread that sentence. Matasaip meant the Aleuts, for it was now the time of year when they had come before. Watchers on the cliff began to look at the red sails, and a meeting was held to plan what to do if the Aleuts came. We lacked the men to keep them from landing or to save our lives if they attacked us, which we were certain they would. Plans were therefore made to flee as soon as their ships was sighted. Food and water were stored in canoes, and these were hidden on the rocks of the south end of the island. The cliffs were steep here, very high, but we wove a stout rope of bull kelp and fastened it to the rocks at the top of the cliff so that it hung to the water. As soon as the Aleut ships were sighted, We could all go to the cliff and let ourselves down one at a time. We would then leave in our canoes for the island of Santa Catalina. Although the entrance of Coral Cave was too narrow for ship to pass through safely at night, men were sent there to watch the cove from dusk to dawn besides those who watched during the day. Shortly afterwards, on the night of fine moon, one of the men came running back to the village. Everyone was asleep, but his cries quickly awakened us. "The Aleuts!" he shouted, "the Aleuts!" It was news expected. It was news we expected. We were prepared for it. Yet there was much fear in the village of Galeas-at. Matasape strode from hut to hut, telling everyone to be calm and not to lose time packing things. It would not be needed. I took my skirt of yucca fiber, however, for I had spent many days making it and it was very pretty, and also my otter cape. Quietly, we filed out of the village along the trail that led toward the place where our canoes were hidden. The moon was growing pale, and there was a faint light in the east, but a strong wind began to blow. We had gone no further than a half league when we were overtaken by the men who had given the warning. He spoke to Matasape, but we all gathered around listening to him. I went back to the cove after I gave the alarm. He said, when I got there, I could see the ship clearly. It is beyond the rocks that guard the harbor. It is a smaller ship than the one which belonged to the Aleuts. The sails are white instead of red. Could you see anyone? Matasape asked. No, it is not the same ship which was here last spring. No, Matasape was silent, pondering news. Then he told us to go on to where the canoes were and wait for him, for he was going back. It was light now, and we went quickly over the dunes to the edge of the cliff and stood there while the sun rose. The wind grew cold, but fearing that those on the ship would see the smoke, we did not start a fire, though we had meal to cook for breakfast. Instead, we ate a small quantity of dry abalone, and afterwards my brother Ramu climbed over the cliff. No one had been down to the rocks since the canoes were hidden, so we did not know whether they were still safe or not. While he was gone, we saw a man running across the dune. It was Nanko, 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 carrying a message from Matasape. He was sweating in spite of the cold, and he stood trying to catch his breath. We all waited, urging him to talk, but his face was happy, and we knew that he brought good news. "Speak," everyone said in the chorus. "I've been running for more than a league," he said. "I cannot talk." "You're talking," someone said. "Speak, Nanko, speak," cried many voices. Nanko was having fun with us. He drew out his chest and took a deep breath. He looked around at the circle of faces as if he did not understand why everyone was staring at him. "The ship," he said at last, saying the word slowly, "does not belong to our enemies, the Aleuts. There were white men on the ship, and they have come from a place where Kimki went when he left our island." "Has Kimki returned?" an old man broke in. "No, but it is he who saw the white men and told them to come here." What do they look like?" Ulape asked. Are there boys on the ship?" asked Ramu, who had come back with a mouthful of something. Everyone seemed to be talking at once. Nanko made his face stern, which was hard for him to do because his mouth had been cut in the battle with the Aleuts, and ever since it had always seemed to smile. He held up his hand for silence. "The ship has come for one reason," he said, "to take us away from Galeas-at." "To what place?" I asked. It was good news that the ship did not belong to the Aleuts, but where would the white men take us? "I don't know to what place," he said. "Kimki knows, and he has asked the white men to take us there." Saying no more, Nanko turned back, and we followed him. We were fearful of where we were going, yet we were happy too. Something is a little strange. I don't exactly know what's going to happen, but if I were to make a prediction, it would be a good one because just something doesn't seem right with that. All right, so I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, we are on a new week, week 5 with this chapter. Answer as many questions as you can. We'll be meeting at 1 o'clock today. If you have any questions, then ask me, okay? All right, I'll see y'all then.